Good morning, everybody. Today's video is going to be a bit of a mix. At the moment, we're at Timpley graveyard, or churchyard, should I say. And the reason that we've come here is I have a record that suggests Robert Ascroft, former MP of Oldham, the man who showed Winston Churchill how to be an MP, or guided him into the Oldham seat, is buried. Now, I don't know where his grave is. I can see there's lots of massive monuments, so it's going to be interesting to see who these people were. We'll make a full video out of it, as we do always. But I think we're going to start by maybe going around the outside and then working our way in and just seeing what we can find. As usual, I've chosen some very sensible footwear, open-toed shoes. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, it's took me an hour to drive here today. Should we start by looking around the church itself? Because this church is quite old. Where'd that noisy get? Let's have a walk around the path and then do the rounds. So yeah, it took me about an hour and 20 minutes this morning to drive down. Have you heard that? Oh, they're going crazy in that church. They're going crazy in that tree. It's like a scene out the birds, isn't it, everyone? There's a big do going on. I think the magpies are trying to get in the nest for the crows. Anyway, so yeah, I think this is called St Mary's. Could be completely bleeding wrong, but I do know that there are a lot of beautiful gravestones in here, and we'll definitely make an interesting video. We're going to have a big job on our hands, aren't we? Oh my God! I found it, everyone! Straight, oh my God, how strange is that? I'm gonna pull that ivy off. Robert Ascroft, MP for Oldham, who died the 19th of June 1899. He was 52 years old. Let me pull the ivy off and then come back. Right, so what I've done is I've pulled, let's get round this side. I've pulled the ivy off, and thankfully it hasn't damaged it too much. But I hope you can see that, everyone. It says Robert Ascroft, MP for Oldham, who died 19th of June 1899, aged 52 years. And as much as we have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done in unto me. Don't make any sense to me, that. Probably a bit thick, aren't I? And also Wilhelmina Harriet, his dearly beloved wife, called to rest 23rd of April 1932. She was 82. I'm delighted to have found. So Robert Ascroft, for those of you who maybe don't know, and why I've driven all this way to find his grave, Robert Ascroft was MP of Oldham. He was actually born on Queen Street in Oldham. And let's have a look here. We've got more people. Wilhelmina Barlow, Mina, eldest daughter of William and Wilhelmina Harriet Ascroft of Timpley Hall. Ooh, so that's where they lived. Oh no, that's where they lived. Who died on the 20th. No. Okay, so she was 13. They lived at Timpley Hall. Okay, so I know now where he lived. Who died on the 24th of August 1886, aged 13 years and 6 months. I will give thee rest. Also Hilda Georgia, their fourth daughter, who died on the 19th of July in 1885, aged 8 years. God is love. Oh, who knew? Who knew that they had children that had passed? So yeah, Robert was MP for Oldham, as you can see from his stone. He died a premature death, really. He died in London, so I think that was probably when he was maybe at Parliament. But he was born on Queen Street in Oldham, and he was the son of a solicitor, and he became a solicitor himself. Let's walk around the church and I'll tell you the story. So he became a solicitor himself, and then he went into politics. I think he was a socialist or a conservative, possibly a conservative. I'll fact check that and put a note in if I'm wrong. So he was voted into Parliament, and his successor was Winston Churchill. I'm pointing at the sky again, I'm sorry everybody. His successor was Winston Churchill, and Winston Churchill actually wrote about him. I think it was chapter 6 of his biography, his autobiography, and he wrote about how Ascroft helped him and X, Y and Z. But yeah, he like I say, he was a solicitor. He's got a statue in Alexandra Park. So it's not the John... So you got the John Platt statue, but as you walk down, we might go... I'm going up to Oldham, so we might have a walk down and go and have a look at his statue. Let's do that. Let's give him a visit. But he was a wonderful man, and he did a lot for workers' rights. You know, people were really taking the mick out of all them years ago, and he fought for the rights of the workers. And actually on his monument, which was unveiled by Winston Churchill, it refers to him as the workers' friend. Absolutely stunning. I don't know how old this church is. I've got a feeling it's around the 17s, but I could be completely wrong with that. So anyway, oh, look at this. In loving memory of my devoted husband, Norman Ashworth, who died May the 26th, 1962, aged 68. Church warden of this church, 34 to 63. Also Ivy, his wife, who died February 17th, 1981, age 86. Yeah, I keep getting drawn to this stone here. So this is, ooh, look, they've got a vault. They've got a vault. So this sounds interesting. This is the grave of William Bell of Addison Villa, Timpley, who was the eldest son and last surviving member of the family of the late John Bell, and entered into rest September 20th, 1930, in his 82nd year. His life was devoted to the service of his Maker and his fellows. This is Harriet Hattie Bell, daughter of the late John Ashton of Manchester and stepdaughter of the late John Bell, entered into her rest August 13th, 1906. I can't see what that first word, yearn that your labour is not in vain in the Lord. I wonder if John Bell's in here. Then we've got Sarah Carver, the beloved wife of John Bell Addison, of Villa Timpley, John Bell, Addison Villa Timpley, who died 1872, and also John Bell, he died 1875. He was 61 years old. Interesting to see who those people were. I want to see what's round there, but it seems the bigwigs are buried round here, doesn't it? Oh, look at this. Here rest the mortal remains of Deborah. I can't even read that. Deborah, the beloved wife of Fred Lyon, Alfred Lyon, Esquire of Motith House, Timpley. She died 1865. You know, when you think about it, everyone, all these fabulous homes that these probably not even existing anymore. I don't even know if Timpley Hall still exists. Obviously, I'll find out. But it makes you think, doesn't it, that, you know, all these people had these fabulous, beautiful homes with these fabulous names, and you know, not only are they gone, well, that's all that's left of them, a monument, but most of the homes as well. There's some bigwigs in here. I wonder why Robert ended up in Timpley. Maybe his wife was from Timpley. I know his mum and dad are buried in Chadderton. I've featured that in another video. Okay everyone, so here we have a beautiful stone, and it's the grave of Fred Hardy of Tinsersfield, Ashton upon Mersey. Born January 24th, 1869, died in 1924. Also his wife Catherine, she died in 1956. Frida, the second daughter, and Cecil, their second son. Should we have a look at the doorway? This gorgeous church. Hey, you know what? It's Sunday, innit? Never seen an handle like that before, everyone. Look at this beautiful floor, all tiled. Look at the handle. Look at that handle. That's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah, I would have thought, I don't know why, but feels dodgy walking on this stone. It's really sort of slippy, you know, because it's autumn. Right, we're not quite Oldham yet, everybody, because we're at Timpley Hall, or what used to be Timpley Hall. I think it's now Timpley Golf Club. This is where I believe, and I could be completely wrong, if this isn't Timpley Hall, I've got it wrong, let me know, because it's called the Golf Club now. But this, it does say the old hall outside. And as I just shown you, Timpley Hall is the home of Robert Ascroft. So I thought, let's have a look before we get to Oldham. There's some beautiful statues here, everybody. But this is the house. Now, apparently, they've called it the Old Hall. I don't even know if I'm sure this is it. But apparently, there was another house here built in the 1500s which had a moat around it that was knocked down, and this one was built in the mid 1800s. But let's have a look at this statue here. She's beautiful. I wonder if she was here all these years ago. Maybe, maybe not. But the house definitely looks in keeping with the time, doesn't it? And perfectly plausible that this was it. I'm going to go out on a limb, everybody, and I'm going to say this was Robert's house. If this is the old Timpley Hall, I'll do some research, but I'm absolutely sure it is. And then you've got this beautiful one here. I'll tell you what's interesting about this, everybody. This statue is replica of sorts of the one in Alexandra Park, Emma at the Well. So if this was Robert's house, and if these statues were put in when he lived here, then maybe that's his sort of homage to Oldham. Homage. Who knows? Anyway, I'm getting my car out this bleeding place because there's golf balls flying left, right and centre. Before I know what's happening, I'm going to need Dent Man to fix my car for me. So there you go, everybody, the old Timpley Hall. Let's get to Oldham. Right, everybody, so we're now in Oldham. We're just out to the side at Back Park. I just wanted to show you these beautiful big houses. Aren't they stunning? I'm going to find out who lived in these houses. But anyway, I love scenes like this, everyone. Can you see them leaves coming down? Absolutely stunning. So we're actually going into the back exit to the park. Just trying to get the bearings actually, because the reason we're here obviously is to have a look at Robert's statue, and that's on the top level. So just thinking which is the easiest way to get there. Possibly up here. It's on the far wall, isn't it? But yeah, the park's gorgeous today. It's beautiful weather. Where the hell are we? When you can't get your bearings. Oh, let's just walk across this field in my open toe frigging shoes. Piss wet through my feet. Oh no. Everyone, I've just walked through this boggy bit and it's wet my feet. Need to get on this path really, don't we? Don't matter, they'll dry out. So we're going to make our way around, which should take us to the thing at top. I don't know if you've seen on any previous videos, but I talked about quite a lot of the people who lived in these houses. Oh shit. I'll tell you an interesting fact about Alexandra Park. Foot's wet through. So, Alexandra Park was opened in the mid 1800s, and the purpose of it was one of the biggest parks outside of London, because they only usually had them in London then. But the purpose of this park being built was to employ the local men of the town during the cotton famine, which was brought on by the American Civil War. So the cotton wasn't coming in, therefore the manufacturing wasn't taking place, therefore men were being laid off. Robert's just down here. But anyway, the land itself was owned by a local landowner. Can't remember his name. I don't think you'd expect me to, would you, off the cuff like that? Sometimes I can. But anyway, this fella, he sold the land to the government, because the government sort of, like a furlough scheme really, if you think about it. You know, they said people had to work, but anyway, he sold them this land. Interestingly, everyone, here used to stand a beautiful tea room, and for whatever reason, even though there was nothing wrong with it, they decided to knock it down. They called it architectural vandalism, and apparently it was absolutely beautiful. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the ground was a bog. It was just one big massive bog. So the first thing that they had to do before they started building the park, they had to sort of sort out the ground. So they put in various different drainage bits and pieces and drained the water off and got it ready for building us to what it is today. But as I was just saying then, it's interesting that my foot it felt like I was walking across a bog, but then it might just be down to heavy rain. Anyway, this is the statue of Robert Ascroft. In my opinion, I think the council need to spend a bit of money and clean this up. He's looking a bit weather worn. And one of the first things I thought when I first saw this statue and paid attention to it, I mean obviously it's been here since the early 1900s, unveiled by Winston Churchill. But one of the things that I found interesting about this statue, and I don't know if this camera's picking it up, I should bring my Canon sometimes, you know, but anyway, is the lifelikeness of his features. It looks like he could just talk to you, which I suppose is the point. But he's got his own area here, this massive walled area, and I think this is probably where Winston Churchill stood based on the pictures, and addressed the people of Oldham who come along to see the unveiling of the statue. But this is the man, and we've been to the grave, and I think even though he's got a statue, I don't think people tend to sort of know who he is or who he was. But it says on here, Robert Ascroft, MP for Oldham 1895 to 99. The worker's friend. This statue was erected by public subscription in 1903. I believe that's a granite plinth that he's on. No, is it stone? I don't know. Granite. Is it granite? Yeah, it's shimmering, look. It's a beautiful coloured stone, actually, if you look at it, everybody. See all the... In the sun, can you see all the speckles shimmering in it? So this is the man. And the guy who did the statue, this is another interesting fact, The guy who did this statue, very, very, very famous sculptor who was commissioned. And one of his more famous sculptures is above, can't remember what the bleeding courts, you know the big courts in Courts of Justice in London, where it's got the woman above it with all in gold, and she's got like scales in justice, the scales of justice basically. He did her statue above the Old Bailey, that's it. So, and the gesture that they posed him on, or the pose he put him in, was him addressing the crowds, or addressing the people. Poor Get 52. The other thing that I've surmised, we're going to walk back to the car now, everybody. If you want to see a video on the park, you just need to go back through the channel. I've done a few. I did one which actually is the best one in my opinion, but it's not as great because of the camera work. I did it on my iPad just before I started the channel. Excuse me. But it was a winter, I don't know, 19 maybe, 18. And I did a full walk and a full tour and talked about everything to do with the park. There's loads to talk about. What was I going to say? So yeah, these are the things that I've surmised on our walk back. We're going to go to Levers shortly. I don't know if that'll be a separate video or whether it'll be in this. I'll put a note in now so that you'll know. If this is a long one, I think I'll probably leave the Levers to two different videos, aren't they? But anyway, this is what I've surmised. So Robert Ascroft, born in Oldham, raised on Queen Street by his father who was a solicitor. We know all of that. He then, judging by what we're seeing on the gravestone, his two children went into that grave before him. Because I've always wondered, you know, the likes of John Platt died in Paris. He had a house over in Wales, which he'd more or less retired to, but he still got buried in Oldham. Eli Lees died in his house in Mayfair, London, came back to Oldham to be buried. You know, it goes on and on. So it didn't make sense to me as to why... Did we go that way? Yeah. It didn't make sense to me as to why there wouldn't be a grave for Robert. But then it made sense when I saw who was in the grave, because I think if his children hadn't have died before he did, I think maybe he would have come back to Oldham. I don't know. You can't say for certain. But that's the reason why. And I'm going to have to go out this top and walk down. I'm not doing that. My foot's dried now, funnily enough. So yeah, I really hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I'm going over this grass, I don't care. I know my foot's going to get wet through, but it doesn't matter. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've really enjoyed making this one. It's one that I never thought I would ever be able to make. And the fact that Jesus Christ, why did I do this again? And the fact that I've been able to do it, to me, is absolutely fantastic. My foot! Oh, everybody! It's got mud on my foot. It's oh, I'm gonna have to try and clean my feet. It's literally all brown water going into my foot, into my open toe shoe. What was I saying? Yeah, so for me, this was a treat because I never thought I'd be able to make this video. The fact that I've been able to do it is fabulous, and it just goes to show, even sometimes when you think a video is going to be impossible, sometimes everything just clicks into place. Not like my foot. Shall I show you my foot? Look. Everything just clicks into place, and I'm able to bring you something new that you won't have seen on the channel before, or by anybody else, I would imagine. So that's it. I think me and Lou are going to gut Levers. I think I'm going to have chips, just chips and gravy. I don't fancy peas. Just going to get chips and gravy with lots of salt and vinegar. And the reason why we're going to Levers, one, because it's a fabulous chippy, but two, it's there was a thing on Facebook a few weeks ago talking about how they're struggling a little bit, so we want to go and support them, which is what we're doing. So look at this little doggy here. Hey, He's got eyebrows.
Yeah,
Isn't he funny? Oh. Anyway, that dog had eyebrows, dead long ones, like not Norman Nesbitt. Was he called Norman Nesbitt? I don't know. Anyway, we're back at the car, everybody. If I can find it. Where's my car? Oh yeah. So I think up to Lewes. Let's get into Oldham. Hi everybody, I'm just with Arlo.
Hi.
We've just been to. She's rolling a fag. We've just been to the Smoke Lounge. Is it Smoke Lounge? Yeah. If you want to see it, go over to Lou's channel, Lou's Life. She'll have it up later on. The reason why I'm coming on camera is just to let you know that this is Ascroft Street, what we're looking at here. Now, in the theme of what we've done today, Lou, Robert Ascroft.
Yeah.
So the street, this is Ascroft Street here, is named after Robert, and then you've got Ascroft Medical. I wonder if they know who he was, or the connection. Maybe, maybe not.
I don't.
There's a cafe there as well. The other thing, this on Clegg Street used to go all the way down, everybody. Right down here, and there was a couple of mills, one over there. But of course, over the years, they've knocked it down. But it still is solicitors now, a lot of these. But Clegg Street has historically been solicitors' premises. So, there you go. We're going into gallery, so there might be some gallery action that I'm going to be showing you shortly if we see anything interesting. Let's see what happens.